Hello, welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me in another one of my brief looks at some of the books I've got around and just showing off a bit of my crochet there. Now it's actually only basic double crochet, but we'll forget that. I don't want to put off anybody that is just into books. Let's start over here with Daphne du Maurier's Castle Door. I was just reading the back there. Now most of these I haven't read. Oh yes, I have. Yeah, some of them I have. So it's both a spellbinding love story and a superb evocation of Cornwall's mythic past. Castle Door is a book with unique and fascinating origins. I absolutely. Daphne du Maurier is up there and one of my favourite. I must have got it second hand because there's a little sticker on the back and there's a sort of, as you can see there, 50p. I'm not sure if I got it online second hand or whether I found it in second hand sort of bookshop or somewhere, sometimes. But that's one I haven't got, so I have now, and I can't wait to get back into Daphne du Maurier because I just get sent away with her writing. It's different from, say, my other authors that I really love, like the Brontes, Jane Austen, Thomas Hardy. I really admire her, just the way she just expresses things on a page, but just conjures up the atmosphere and the energy within the scene, etc., and how she deals with lots of things I just love. But anyway, I'll do a Daphne du Maurier another time. But anyway, I need to read that. I haven't had much of a reading spurt for quite a while when I was doing a part-time degree, which took up all my time, and I was a full-time carer for many years, and I got really burnt out and everything. I mean, not. I wish I was still, because I was looking after my mum and dad, who I miss greatly. But life just becomes, there's no time for reading. And I always used to say to myself, gosh, I wish that there's a Turgenev down there. I used to say, I just want to just be lost in literature. And this is exactly the type of literature Turgenev, there we are, look, it's a really old copy here, I don't know if you can see it very well. Not coming up too well. Turgenev, and that is Fathers and Children. And look, there's even a photograph and a signature in there. Now, obviously, I'm presuming this isn't the signature of him himself, because this book was, it's not very good, is it? 1922. You can see that there. It says 1922. There was a signature, and it sort of all looks very old-fashioned-y, kind of. I'm sorry, it's not going into much, but 1920. So this was published in first edition was 1895, and this one would have been around 1920. So I'm really proud to have this beautiful copy of Turgenev's Fathers and Children. And in my last video, you will see that I had I think it was Fathers and Sons. I've not read any Turgenev, but I know I have to. But I want to just have a stint of going back to the classical Russian classics, rather, whatever I'm saying. So we got Daphne du Maurier, Turgenev. This is a lovely. This is completely not a novel, but please, if you want to have power your life goals, please go online. Amanda Craven's 5 Simple Steps to Making Changes in Your Life and Smashing Your Goals. It's a beautiful, it's just so lovely to work with. It's like a workbook, but it's so nice, and she's a wonderful person, highly skilled, both hypnotherapist and very, very good adept psychology background, and she deals with quite a few issues, but that's me plugging a completely different, more like a self-help book, but please go and buy it. It's stunning, it's very well done, Amanda Craven. Over here we have got the Chronicles of Narnia. Now, I read these, I know the year I sort of read them, I can't remember the exact year, but I'd had them on my shelf for lots of years anyway. I think going back to when I was doing primary school teaching. Not that I use this level of books with the infants, of course, but I've got like a little old library of children's books, which I adore. But I read the Chronicles of Narnia slowly but surely over a space of probably about not a couple of years, probably within a year. But I think the last one, whichever that one was, you'll know, and I've gone and forgotten. Oh, I can't remember. There we are. That just proves how much my memory is. Took me a while, and that was like my last one. I picked it up quite late. But a reason why I read The Chronicles of Narnia, and I felt perhaps I ought to have gone to it as a younger person in the world. I was, grown up. But I'd lost my dog, and I just needed an escape into reading something that wasn't too difficult to read. It wasn't highly where I really need to put a ton of concentration, like when I'm reading a Bronte, Jane Austen, a Thomas Hardy, etc., Dostoevsky, to name but a few. And I needed something completely different, but almost like on a sort of like children's level, but and that's why I went through these when I lost my beautiful dog Sam, my collie, and I was grief stricken, of course, as I always am, and I just needed to read. So don't let me put that off. Don't let you think of sad things if you're choosing to pick up the Chronicles of Narnia in later age. Over here we've got Virginia Woolf, The Waves. Once again, another Virginia Woolf I haven't read, would have bought second hand. And it says here, I am writing to a rhythm and not a plot. Virginia Woolf stated of her 8th novel, The Waves, widely regarded as one of her greatest and most original works. Well, I'm sure all her writing is rather original in its style and the way she writes. It conveys the rhythms of life in synchrony with the cycle of nature and the passage of time. To his 6 children in a garden close to the sea, their voices sounding over the constant echo of the waves that roll back and forth from the shore. I mean, I can relate to that because I live near the sea, and I just can't wait to read this. And in fact, if it's in the public domain, probably not, but if it is, I'll do a read aloud. I did start reading Virginia Woolf's Orlando. I recorded myself. I felt it went quite well for 50 whole minutes. I was really pleased. I was in the right mood to read, and lo and behold, I plugged my microphone into the wrong thing in my laptop, completely silent, hadn't picked up a thing. So that's kind of put me off a bit, but I'm going to have to go back to it. So that's all on the face. Now, Diana Athill, An Editor's Life. I bought this a few years ago, and again, I will read it sometime, especially if you're the sort that wants to sort of self-publish or edit works, your own writing. It's just her life story of being an editor. For nearly 5 decades, Diana Athill helped shape some of the finest books in modern literature. She edited and nursed and coerced and coaxed some of the most celebrated writers in the English language, as you can see there. Not that I can, yeah. So the word "stet" is an instruction on corrected proofs, which I often use "stet." I think it's sometimes like sort of underline as well. When I did my typing exams many moons ago, we knew what "stet" meant. It just means, I think put it back, doesn't it? Like undo what you've just crossed out, I think. So my memory must be good. Over here, the Cool Girl's Guide to Crochet. And here we are. I'm a cool girl crocheting this. I've put 3 strands of double knit together to create this effect. Okay, that's going to be the back of my vest top. That's the front. That's just 2 strands together. I'm just using a 6.5mm, but please don't let me put you off the book thing. So as you can see, have I gone through all these books? Yes. So we have a craft book, we have a Russian classic, we have just a life story of a wonderful, amazing woman, a great novel, or Virginia Woolf's self-help, go for it, go for Power Girls. That's there. You know where it's on. I won't say the place that begins with A. I've mixed feelings about that online place, but it can be handy for quick delivery. We've got the Chronicles of Narnia and my wonderful Daphne du Maurier, who there's the Daphne du Maurier Festival actually that takes place annually each year in May in Foy, Cornwall. Foy, and I've been to it. I've even spoken at it, would you believe? And I'm looking forward to attending that this year, just to go and enjoy the event. And I'm really going to brush up on my Daphne du Maurier because, of course, one of my favourite of all times is, of course, A Jamaica Inn and Frenchman's Creek. I think those 2 are my absolute top 2 of hers at the moment. I know most people say Rebecca, but I love My Cousin Rachel as well. Reading that, I just loved it. I thought it was fabulous. But Jamaica Inn is highly precious to me. It gave me strength. I've read it a few times. I do have a wonderful, if need be, it was on tape, audio, but please don't just go for the audio, read it. Get sent away with your own, just that intimacy with reading great literature. But when I read in, oh gosh, perhaps it was like 1999, Jamaica for the first time, I was going through stuff and I needed the strength that Mary Yellen gave me as she was walking across the moors. I won't give the story away, and having to just do what she had to do to just get put right a wrong, etc., etc. You know, I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you've not read Jamaica Inn, don't rely on the films and these modern day productions. It just doesn't do it. Well, it doesn't do it for me anyway. But she gave me strength at a time when I needed strength, and that's why I go back to Jamaica Inn. I have to be sent away. And I visited Jamaica Inn. My dream is to stay at Jamaica Inn in the sort of hotel apartments there and to eat. I've never eaten at Jamaica Inn, but I used to go to the gift shop. Indeed, there was things that I used to sell that they took and they sold for me. One day I might disclose what they were, but I'm not there now. That was over 10 years ago. Anyway, enjoy your reading, Daphne du Maurier. And we have C.S. Lewis. Sorry, I don't mention the authors. I'm a nightmare. I'm not very organised. Take care, everyone. And, here we are. If you feel like this is double knit, okay? And that is treble. It's a great effect, what you do, and then depending on the size of your crochet hook. And if you go onto YouTube, you find wonderful tutorials to begin crochet, and I love it. Thank you, but I do need to read more. Put my knitting and crochet down. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and please come back.